If your website's struggling to get the traffic and the clicks, the visits and the inquiries or the sales that you're expecting, then it could be that you're overlooking something as simple as page titles. Page titles are like a headline for each page of your website, and they're really important when it comes to both SEO, so how Google and other search engines perceive your website and what ranking you achieve as a result of that, but also when it comes to user experience and whether someone's going to click a link and visit your website. So in this video I'm going to explain a few of the things that you can do to avoid some of the pitfalls when it comes to creating well-written page titles, and also give you some tips on how you can find out what page titles you should be including, what words you might include, how you should structure your page titles, how long they should be, that kind of thing. So as I say, a page title acts as a kind of headline for your web page. They appear in the top of your browser tab. So when you're browsing the internet and you've got various tabs open, if you want to see the title for the page that you're currently looking at, then you can just hover your cursor over the tab and it will show you the title in full normally. Titles appear as part of what's known as the header in a website, so it's kind of behind the scenes content, but obviously it's revealed in certain places such as the tab title. They also appear when you share a link. So sometimes if you share a link from to a website on a different platform, such as here on LinkedIn, then this text here, the finisher, Jasmine Paris and the Barkley Marathon's full documentary, is the title of the page that I've linked to. And here is the page, and again there's the page title. So you can see that in this instance the page title provides a lot of information. It's telling me what the page is that I'm going to be visiting when I click on that link, and without that information I wouldn't necessarily trust the link. I might not choose to click on the link, it might not be so interesting to me, and therefore a well-written page title is vital for getting clicks through from one site to another if links are being shared on social media. But page titles also appear in Google search results. So when you search for a business or a product, search for anything in Google or Bing or any other search engine, then generally the text that you see as the main heading on an item in the list is the title for the page that's being listed there. So for me, this is hellotechnology.co.uk, it's the home page, and the title is Hello Technology Website Design and Development Whitby ... and you can see that that's the same title as I have up there in the tab. So that's page titles in a nutshell, where they appear, what they're used for. But why do titles matter? Well, as I've mentioned, if you have a well-written page title, you're more likely to get clicks through from Google or from a social platform through to your own website. But also Google is inferring a lot of importance on the page title itself when it comes to search engine ranking. And so if you don't have a well-written page title, Google is going to kind of subtly downgrade your page. It's not going to trust the content, and as a result your search rankings will suffer. So what makes a good page title? Well, there are a few things. Perhaps most importantly is relevance and clarity. So the page title should be relevant to the content of that page. It should be something that aligns with the core message and the other headings and text that appears on that page of content. It shouldn't be something different from all the other content that Google finds within that page. And it should be clear, it should be concisely written, so that it's very obvious what that page of content is all about. Page titles should include keywords, so that the keywords that your preferred customers might be using to find your product or service, you'll want to include those in your page title. A page title shouldn't be too long, ideally 50 to 60 characters in length, so that when someone's searching through pages of search results, they're seeing most, if not all, of the page title displayed on the page. Otherwise, Google will truncate the title, or it may well even rewrite the whole title to make it fit more neatly within that 50 to 60 character limit. So you're best off aiming to write concise titles yourself that stick to the point and that feature the keywords and phrases that are important to you and to your business. Page titles should be unique, and each page on your website should have a different page title. If you have pages with the same title, then Google can't really determine which page to rank first for any relevant terms. So your best bet is always to write unique page titles for every page on your website. And of course, it's useful to write page titles which are in some sense compelling. They provide a reason for someone to click through, to visit that link and to end up on your website. There are quite a few mistakes that are made when it comes to writing page titles. First up, you might do what's called keyword stuffing, where you try and include too many keywords within your page title. Within 50 to 60 characters, you can't really get away with very much repetition at all. So it's best to kind of avoid it and just write a single short sentence, a phrase that summarizes what that page is all about. Put your keywords near the front, so if you can, make them the first words in the title, but don't try and stuff loads of keywords in. Don't repeat the same word over and over, because Google will notice that and it'll downgrade you as a result. You also want to avoid titles which are vague. So you might see default page titles like home and then the name of the business, or about and the name of the business. These are a bit too vague. Really you want something that's a bit more specific, that you've taken some time to think about writing purposefully. Most website platforms, when you're creating your page, it will populate the title with a default title, but you'll want to change that to be something that you've taken a bit more thought over. You also want to make sure you don't duplicate titles. So as I've mentioned, duplicates across the same website are a problem, and you'll want to weed those out and replace any duplicates with better written, more specific titles. You'll also want to think about using your brand name or product names in your page titles, so that you're attracting people who are searching for a specific company or a specific product or brand. But you might also want to think about using long tail keywords and phrases. These are words and phrases where there's less competition. So instead of just using something that's fairly kind of generic and wide ranging, like website development, I might choose website developer in Whitby, because there's going to be fewer people searching for that, but those people are more likely to make use of me and my services if they find my website, and so I'll be targeting more kind of locally specific phrases rather than competing with every web design agency in the UK. As an example, I've got a page of my own website here, my About page. I'm going to swap the default title that WordPress generated when I created the page with a much better title. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm using the Yoast plugin. You might have something similar in your website, or if you're using Wix or Squarespace or Shopify, they've all got a similar but slightly different way of adding page titles. And I'm going to swap the page title here that says About Hello Technology with a much better one, Hello Technology, the web design agency of Jack Barber, Whitby. So that gets a few keywords in: my business name, my name, the fact that I do web design, the fact that I'm an agency, and my location. So that's quite a well-written page title, and that will perform much better than the generic About Hello Technology title that WordPress created for me. So armed with this information, you can go ahead, look through all the page titles for your website, see where you might have opportunities to write better titles, more concise titles, or more accurate titles, titles which align better with your preferred customer and their search intent, the thing they're actually looking for. And don't forget that sometimes what you want to say about your product or service might not be exactly what your preferred customer is looking for. You might want to emphasize quality, for example, when your customer might be searching based on price. So you've always got to have in mind what the customer might be looking for when they're searching for your products or services. And then go ahead, and if you've got content management, you're able to manage your own website content and edit the page titles yourself, then I suggest you just make a start working through improving the page titles where you see opportunity to do that. And if you need any help, I'd be glad to help with that, so feel free to get in touch. And there's lots of other tools that you can use online to help you get to grips with page titles, writing better titles, or working out what words to use. And a really helpful tool is Google Trends. It will show you what people are searching for now, but it will also help you explore the types of words and phrases that people might be using when they're looking for your service. So I might put web design in here, and I might compare it to web development. And then I get a graph showing the volume of searches for web design versus the volume of searches for web development. So I can determine from that there's much more people looking for web design as a service than web development. So maybe I'll use that to help me consider exactly what words or phrases I might use within my website's page titles. So go ahead, experiment, make some improvements, and I'm sure before long you'll see your site further up in Google's rankings, generating more interest, more impressions, more clicks, and hopefully more customers, more orders, more inquiries for your business.